The White Tiger is, at its heart, I think, the story of a man's quest for freedom. I mean, that's always been for me the very essence of the book. It happens to be set in a social and a political context, but what it really is a man trying to understand, without any help from his background, without any help from his family, being put in an entirely new world, and having to understand for himself that this is a trap, and how he's going to break out of this trap. So it's a search for freedom at its heart. I'd wanted to write a novel, but a novel about someone who's very different from me, and this is hard to do. This is somewhat hard to do when you come from a middle-class background in India, because there's a lot about the country you never realize. It was always my aim to travel both geographically and sort of culturally and socially within India, that is, get to meet new kinds of people. And becoming a journalist allowed me to do that. So I'd always wanted to write fiction, but I wanted to write fiction about someone very unlike me. And being a journalist was part of that endeavor. So the goal had always been to be a writer. And for me, the transition really was becoming a journalist, which was writing quickly, writing to deadline, and writing very focused pieces. That was the transition. I kept writing fiction all the time. In the evenings or in the early mornings. India is home to these incredible contrasts, and one of the facts about India is still that it's home to very large numbers of extremely poor people who are not represented within India or to the world at large in fiction or in film. India, is a country that's emerging rapidly in many ways onto the global scene. It seems to be a link between an ancient civilization and a modern economy in many ways, because it has its religious past and its cultural traditions, but it also has a big outsourcing industry and modern industries. So it seems to capture both where a lot of the world has been and where it's going, and this is maybe one reason why it fascinates a lot of people, but it's also emerging as an important market in its own. So there's a lot of, it's not just the rest of the world is interested in India. India is increasingly interested in India. Indians are increasingly looking at themselves. So the interest is being driven from outside and from within. So it's the confluence of culture and technology, the past and the future. But increasingly the future of India is going to be shaped by the tension between those who have and those who don't, and it was important to capture this tension, which is changing life in India, and to depict these invisible men within India, the poor, and what they want and how they're trying to take control of their own lives. So that's what the White Tiger is. It's not so much there was no political agenda really. It's an attempt to bring all of India into the literary world. Because right now a lot of literature focuses only on a part of India.